had to do a bit of a minor recovery there. As you can tell, it's supposed to be summer, but the weather hasn't been great, so it doesn't take much for the old bald tyres to start slipping, and once it slips, that's it. So lucky we got the cabless loader to the rescue. So I've done a little bit of looking. I'm not going to bore you with looking for broken wires because it's enough to drive anyone insane, but this is half the problem. If I can get you in there. That's been sitting on something hot and melted through or chewed through by some form of animal. So I'm going to join those back up, and then these two yellow ones here would have gone to focus that throttle switch down there, and all that does is tell the gives continuity when you got your foot off the throttle, so that you can't have the jake brakes on while you're accelerating. So if I bypass that, it just means you can have your foot on the throttle and the jakes be going at the same time, but we just won't do that. So we'll join those two together with the little connector, and that red one gets plugged into this wire down here, that one there, and then I'll fix the wires and we'll see if it works. So up here got the center dash panel down, and you can see this is the jake brake switch here, right there. So it should have, one of these will be power, and then it'll have power out. So this red one here is for low, so that'll give half the cylinders, turn the jake brake solenoids on, and then when both these have power, you will have all the jake brake solenoids on. So that's what the high and low on the switch is there. So low is just not all cylinders are jake braking. So no power there at the moment after I've fixed those wires, but we come down here, down at the clutch switch, and this little rod, right here, now that's supposed to be, you can hear that clicking, that's supposed to be for when your foot has to be off the clutch for the jake brake to come on. So that's doing nothing there. That's not where it should be. This little rod, this arm here, should be sitting on front of the pedal, so that when your foot's off the pedal, it's activating the switch like that. So I will loosen this if I can with one hand without snapping it. So loosen that. I'll have to take it off. There's not much room lying down here, so and I would have thought, see, that's not supposed to be there either. I would have thought that would sit there like that, but it doesn't really very good. I don't know, it might be bent, but that's how it's supposed to work. So I don't reckon that bend there is supposed to be there. We might take it off and put it in the vise and straighten it, I reckon. Yeah, we'll go straight. So we'll just put that in the vise and give it a bit of a straighten. Go a bit that way too, I reckon, because it's probably just something someone's made anyway, so right, half straight. Hopefully it goes on and fits. There's no room to put the phone under it actually, so you can actually see what's going on. It's a bit difficult, but I'll do my best. So put that on there. Then I just got to do it up a bit, hold the pedal down, and then tighten it up the rest of the way, just so it's just triggering that switch. Okay, so I've got that bent in roughly the right spot. So when you pull down on it, you can hear that trigger switch, so that when you got your foot on the clutch, that would stop the jakes, and then push up, it clicks, that's foot off, and it should have power up to the jake brake solenoid, up at the jake brake switch and at the jake solenoid as well. So we'll have a look at that. So now I've got the test light earth to the dash there, and I lied, the yellow's actually the power, so you can see that's got power, foot on clutch, power goes out. And if the throttle switch was still hooked up down at the pump, then it would also be when I put my foot on the throttle that power would cut off as well. So we've got that there, got power going to the switch is off, so the two red wires which go to the injector solenoids have no power. So we put it on one click, which is low. The first red wire should have power, which it does, and then no power on the second one, and then we go to high, which the switch is a bit dodgy, so it might not work, but so first one has power, second one also has power. So technically right now the jake brake solenoids are energized. So we'll start it up in a sec and give it a try. So I hooked those wires up and checked out power at the jake solenoids. I had the jake switch on and pushed the connection, the terminal on and off the jake solenoid, and I can hear it clicking. But when I flick the jake switch, literally nothing happened. So I was just going to pull the rock cover off and have a quick look to make sure nothing's broken. It could be out of adjustment. Maybe it's not getting oil to the solenoid. It has external oil feed lines. But that's all I can really think off the top of my head that it could be. I didn't want to pull the motor apart just yet, but I'll have a look in there, in the rocker cover at least. in case there's something going on, but it doesn't sound like any of the cylinders are doing nothing. So there's the first issue. Obviously, I thought I could hear it clicking, but these little connectors have come off. So that one's supposed to be on there like that. This is probably dripping oil all over me, is it? No. And then this one down here is off as well. So maybe I can just plug it back in. I might give them a squeeze. This is the first time I've looked inside, so just make sure nothing else looks out of the ordinary. Actually doesn't look too bad. Nothing's broken, I can see. So there you go, you got two Jake solenoids. So one does the first two cylinders, and the next one does the back two. I'm not sure how they work in low Jakes, if it crisscrosses or if it goes like both front ones for low and then high is all four. I'm not sure. I'll just grab a pair of pliers and squeeze those terminals a bit so that they don't fall off as soon as I start it again. So I'll put the rocker cover back on this side. I might pull the other side one off and make sure that the wires are still on. But I could definitely hear something clicking when I was pulling the connection on and off. And I thought I did on this side too, but both were disconnected, so I'm not really sure what exactly I was hearing. So whack these bolts back in. I might start it and see if it does anything, and then if it doesn't do nothing, I'll take the other side off, I reckon. We'll torque these down a spec. because apparently that one has a longer bolt. Somewhere. That one. Nope. I thought they were all the same length. Alright, we'll try that and see what it does. And if it still doesn't do anything, I'll pull the other side off. Or I'll pull this side off while it's running and see what it's actually doing. They might just be leaking that bad, they're leaking all their oil out. So I'm pretty sure why they're not working is just too much oil leakage, as you can see in the other part of the video where I push these solenoids down and oil just pours out of here. It's just not building up enough pressure, I don't think. I've had a good look at it and wrapped my head around how it works, I think. So you've got the main part of the solenoid, try and hold everything. The main part of the solenoid here, which pushes down on this little bridge down there, and then it's got a recess around the valve, exhaust valve bridge. It's hard to see if you can just see it there, and it holds both exhaust valves open. And then it must also, I think, push on the injector rocker. You can see that flat bolt in the middle there on top of the rocker. That's got a little solenoid up under here, and that pushes on there. That must hold the injector, possibly. I'm not sure about that. So if anyone has a book or parts manual or any info on these at all, because I don't really want to pull them off because I've heard they're a pain to set up and shim right, if that's the one I have. I think I have the earlier ones from doing a bit of research. My serial number starts with 104, and apparently 103 and 104 serial numbers are the early style. So yeah, that's why they're not working. I assume the other side has the same problem with oil leaks. I haven't confirmed that just because it's got a few more hoses I have to pull off that are running over the rocker cover. But yeah, a bit depressing for the video. No jake brake noises, so that's a bit sad. But I'll do some research and see if I can find some parts, see what's in there and how to set them up properly once I have them off. And I'll try and do an educational video on that side of things, pulling it apart and putting it back together, because I haven't found anything that really tells you how to do it for people that aren't from the era and got to work on them back in the day like me. So I'll figure it out, and I'm sure some people in the comments will actually know how to do it. So if you do, let me know, it would be appreciated. That's probably it for this video. Hopefully I can figure out what I need, so then I can make some noise on the next video maybe. See, this rock cover's got a few more hoses wrapped over it, but I'll have a look under there and might video that too, but we'll see how I go. I'm running out of time for today. So yeah, thanks for watching. Any info or help's appreciated, and I'll catch you on the next one.